What's going on, my good people? Apologize for the delay. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It is May 1st, man. This year's going by fast. I hope you guys all had a really, really good weekend. You already know what we're going to talk about today, the NFL draft. Did your team have a good draft? What was your team's draft grade this past weekend? NBA playoffs. Shout out to Steph Curry doing what he do. Yeah, my guy D Bus gonna join us pretty soon. Obviously, as always, put your comments in the comment section. Go to Twitter, hashtag M2M Live. Y'all know what it is. We can catch you on the other side. But hey, look, we'll have a good show today. See you in a minute.
Man to man, yeah, we talking. Man to man, they can't guard me. Man to man, they don't wanna see us. Man to man, they don't know how to beat us. Man to man, 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 yeah, man. Must be the struggle that's in me, that's why I want it so bad. Must be the hustler in me that keep my foot on the gas. When you got it from nothing, then hard times ain't so bad. Just know I'm coming for everything that they said I couldn't have. I put my life inside it, yeah, I kept it solid. Yeah, I played the field, that's how I feel about it. We put numbers on the board, we always up the score. Yeah, we stuck to the plan and never ran. Now they can't see it, man. Yeah, we talking, man to man, they can't guard me. Man to man, they don't wanna see us. Man to man, they don't know how to beat us. Man to man, 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 man to man.
Any way we can get it, baby. Any way we can get it.
Yes, sir.
I can't see you, cousin. Hey, the intro was hard.
Can't see me?
Nah, bro. Let me see. Hey, that intro. Ooh, let me know what y'all think about the intro, man. Hey, Tone, you did your thing, man. You did your thing with that. I'm gonna wait for AB to get in here and tell y'all who that artist is who gave us that dope man-to-man intro. I don't know if that was the first or second time I had to jump in here late. Got a little pushback with my kids drop off this morning, but that was hard. I got here just in time. Welcome back. Gonna wait for AB to get back in here, but it's May 1st, already May. It's 2023. It's flying by. Already in May 1st. Had a lot go on in the sports world. A lot of great things. It's a great time to be a sports fan in South Florida right now, man. My Panthers showing off. My Heat showing off. The Marlins, who we just sweep. I think we just swept the Cubs. I mean, we just doing, we had the NFL draft, so it's gonna be Florida boys up and down that draft. There we go. AB back in the building. What's good, baby?
What it do?
There we go. Yeah, man. So let the people know who blessed us with that intro, man.
Yeah, man. My young boy Yoko, man. Yoko. He's a phenomenal artist from Hampton, Virginia, staying out there on the West Coast right now, but doing some big things in the music world, man. So shout out to Yoko, blessing us with that dope intro.
Yeah, man, that was tough. How was your weekend? I know it was a great weekend in sports. How was your weekend?
Man, long weekend, man. Down here in VA, man. Pharrell had he hosted a Something in the Water festival this weekend. Came out here, showed some love, good time. Weather was horrible, but some good fellowship with the guys, man. So had a good time. Good time. How about you?
Yeah, same, man. One of my daughters celebrated her birthday. I was out there in Indy for the draft. That was awesome for the fourth annual PMS Draft Spectacular. And it got back here to celebrate my Bug's birthday. And then I was just talking about this weekend in sports, man. I don't know what you hit already, but we obviously got a lot to talk about
Facts.
in sports this from this weekend. The Heat obviously went on to upset the Bucks. They moved on to get their first win in the second round. Now we got the Warriors-Lakers matchup. Got to talk about that Steph performance, the draft, obviously. What you want to jump off with, man?
Man, we got to jump off, man, with these NBA playoffs, man. Again, I think, Steph, what he was able to do in that Game 7 against the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento Kings, they've been big at home this entire year. But just to see
the Beam team.
Yeah, just to see what Steph was able to do. And, we've talked about on this show a number of times where you feel as though what Steph ranks all time on your list. And this is just another performance where I can say that but you do have a valid argument, man. But what Steph was able to do last night, man, it was what you want to see from your star player.
Yeah, man, and Steph, I think he's been admired and talked about as the greatest shooter, for a long time now. I feel like at least a good probably 5-6 years at this point. That argument has kind of been dead, but a lot of people kind of left him in that box, like, oh, greatest shooter, but don't do, not really impressive much here. Good handles. But when you just look at his whole game, man, obviously the ball handling, being able to shoot the ball, he's a great rebounder, especially in the playoffs as well. But the way he got 22 points in the paint last night, obviously he always going to do his thing from 3-point, but 50, 8 and 6, 50 points, obviously most points in a Game 7 in NBA history in playoffs, man. He just continues to add to his already unreal resume. And, he was in when we had our top 5 list. I think Shaq was your 5th.
Yeah.
I believe Steph was my 5th. And obviously, Shaq, if anybody old enough to remember that Shaq shit, that was the most dominant shit we ever saw on the court. But Steph, man, if he's able to pull it, if he's able to run this back this year and get this fifth ring, he already the greatest point guard in history, in my opinion. He already on my Mount Rushmore because of what he's done on the court. His impact off the court is, I think, second to none. Honestly, you go to any LA Fitness right now, you go to any women's, men's, boys, girls basketball game, they pull up from 3 in the transition, in the half court. The game is completely changed because of this dude. But yeah, he just continues to move up. And if he get that one this year, the arguments for me are gonna be outlandish because he gonna be top 3. He ain't 3.
Top 3.
I'll tell you that right. Top 3 ain't 3. Top 3 ain't 3, AB.
Yeah, hey, look, so I'm not gonna say I am gonna argue with you. I don't think Steph is gonna be top 3. I get it. Great player. I will give you that top 5 argument. But top 3. So now you putting him ahead of, and you say he's not 3. So you putting him ahead of Bron. So you got him at 2.
And that's a tough. Once again, this is a big if he can pull this one off, right? Because right now, him and Bron sitting there, and I'm not just a ring guy. I'm not just a the ring this.
Yes.
Right?
That top 3 comment and not 3. That's about rings.
It is, and I'm gonna tell you why though in this situation. Because Steph's whole career, who's been the face of the league? Bron. It's been Bron's league. Bron has obviously won MVPs. Bron's been to the finals. They have a bunch of finals clashes, and I'm a huge Bron guy. But when we look back on this era of basketball 50 years from now, you're going to be like, hold on, Steph had – because Steph still got a good, 4 or 5 more years left, we would think, based on how he's playing. So let's say he get 5, maybe even 6. Bruh, I mean, unanimous MVP, best record overall, regular season, 5-6 championships. It'll be hard for me to look and say, all right, that was not the best player of his generation. It would just be
Nah,
hard for me to do. But, you know, we got a couple more series to win. 19 consecutive series won in the Western Conference by the Warriors. 19 consecutive, AB.
that's dope. That's good. That's a great team. That great organization, great coach. They have it all. But to put him above LeBron, nah. When we just laughed, nah. I can't give you that. Now your argument is valid, right?
I expect arguments.
Yeah, you're valid. Your argument is valid. You know, rings. You know, he's a leader, best shooter that we've ever seen to play the game. But again, I'm always gonna go to, you know, the fact that, you know, LeBron fell short in some finals. I
I love
I
LeBron.
recognize that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a LeBron guy. I recognize that. But again, when you talk about where he's at on the scoring chart, where he's at on the assist chart, what he's done for the game, the longevity that he's done it, the longevity that he's had in the game.
Special.
I can't put Steph above him. Do I respect your argument? 100%. But you said top three and not three? Uh-uh.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I can't just go, I got to go all the way. I can't just put him in the, you know, because
Yeah.
right now, my top four right now, my Mount Rushmore right now, and it's just me. I'm 37. I definitely saw it in the MJ. Big brother made me watch. MJ's one as it stands right now. What is it? May 1st,
May 1st, 2023.
MJ's one. Bronze two. I got Steph. I got Kobe. In no particular order, that's my Mount Rushmore. That's my Mount Rushmore. But once again, if Steph can come and get 5, another back-to-back with, because we see what this ain't the same Warriors dynasty as it started off, and obviously the KD years. Clay, I ain't never seen Clay shoot like this. They was trapping Steph at half court in the fourth quarter, leaving Clay wide open in the corner. Yeah. I ain't never seen this shit. That ain't gonna be good enough to beat the Lakers. But if Steph can carry this team back to back, man, them arguments for me at least are gonna get crazy. A lot of people, you know, Steph over Kobe won't give you that.
Hey, what you got in your
I'm a
cup?
Kobe guy as well.
What you got in your cup this morning?
I'm a Kobe guy as well, but I
don't
know the chef just, you know what I mean?
Hey, look, it's like I said, it's a valid argument. That's a tough argument to be had. We can probably sit here and talk about this all day, every day, and at the end of it, you know, we both gonna respect each other's opinion. And I'm glad you just put this up there, because next we're moving over to the next series. We got the Golden State Warriors led by Steph Curry, against the Los Angeles Lakers led by LeBron James. Who do you have winning this series?
You know where I'm going with this. Now, I love the Lakers. I love the Lakers. You know, that's your mob you picked, I believe, coming into the playoff, maybe coming into the season. And a lot of people counting them off midway through the season. Got a lot of help. 6 games last series. Each game had a different leading scorer, which is crazy, especially for a LeBron-led team. He is in year 20, and I still feel like that team is still figuring themselves out. Warriors, they know who's who. They know what needs to be done. Clay know he needs to step up. Jordan Poole got to play better. And Steph, he got that look in his eye. So I'm going with Steph and the Warriors to win this series. But this is the series that the NBA wants. This is a series that the fans want. You know, we just finished talking about these two players. You know, two of the best players that we've been able to watch for the last, 10+ years go at it. So this would be a great series. I expect it to go 6 or 7. But I'm going with the Warriors in this one, and probably 7. Honestly, well, which way you going?
Now you already know where I'm going on the other side, baby. I'm going with King James and company, man. Anthony Davis, man. I just feel like this will be another one of those notches on LeBron's resume. 20 years in, or 38 years old.
Special, man.
Special, still doing it. And then again, you see in the first series where you had multiple guys being able to put some points up on the board. So they are definitely going to need that this series. As far as size-wise, being able to run up and down the court, I think that could be something very, very important and very key for the Lakers this series. So, again, 2 great players, 2 great teams. I'm looking forward to it, but I got the Lakers in this series.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one though. I'm definitely looking forward to this one. I think the Nuggets Suns series is gonna be good too. But this is obviously the one. You look at the star power. Both of their legacies are stamped. Both all-time greats. We just had that conversation. I think Steph's the greatest point guard ever. Most people have Bron either 1 or 2 right now, as do I, as far as greatest player all time. And then you got obviously these teams. 2 teams with a bunch of championship experience and pedigree. So I'm going to Warriors, going to Lakers. I expect this one to be split. I believe the Warriors are the slight favorites in this one. If we get a chance, we could throw some odds up on FanDuel Sportsbook, the presenter of our podcast, of the Man to Man Pod. Shout out to FanDuel Sportsbook.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Speaking of that other matchup in the Western Conference, number 1 seed Denver Nuggets came out and handled business. Jamal Murray had a special performance, looking like Bubble Murray in Game 1. The number 4 seeded Suns struggled early, but obviously I expect them to bounce back and make this a series. Which way you going in this one now? This is interesting. Suns Nuggets.
This is gonna be tough. I actually, and we talked about on this podcast as well. I thought the Suns will make a run this year. KD Book, played well last series, but I don't think they have anybody to stop that man that you got on the screen right now for the Denver Nuggets. I think he's going to give the Suns problems. But with that being said, I got the Suns winning the series.
Okay. Suns win the series. I'm going to go Nuggets. I'm going to go Nuggets in this one. And I feel like I'm kind of cheating because I already saw him, get the 1 win and play great. It'll be interesting to see if Jamal Murray can sustain that type of production. But you got some killers over there on the Suns as far as when it comes to putting that ball in the basket. But you know how I feel about Chris Paul, D Book. Is he going to show up and be special?
How you feel about Chris Paul and D Book?
When the lights get the brightest, and D Book had some special performances last series. Obviously, the Clippers were shorthanded. But as the stage gets bigger and brighter, I just haven't been impressed with Books. Just what I expect from him. He's been a great scorer since he's been in the league. I just need to see more. KD, I need to see you lead your guys to that promised land, with you being the bus driver. And Chris Paul, I just need to see Peter get healthy and be himself throughout the series. But Nuggets got a lot to prove too. Shit, Joker hasn't shown us anything late in the playoffs. Jamal Murray got to push. So the Nuggets are deep. They've been the number 1 seed pretty much all year, I feel like, in that Western Conference. So you got to take them serious. But I'm going to take the Nuggets, man. If this one goes 6 or 7, I like the Nuggets with that home court advantage. So give me Denver. Give me Denver in 6.
Okay.
I never thought I'd say that.
Okay. Well, sure. We on a different side in the Golden State and the Lakers. Nuggets and Suns. And then we're going to see here Celtics and 76ers. Celtics and 76ers. I think 2 or 3 matchup. Who you like here? You got Tatum leading the Celtics. You got Joel Embiid with the 76ers, man. Who you like in this one? Who you like in this series?
Embiid, who we expect to be named the league MVP, is doubtful, I believe, for Game 1. So even if he does play, he won't be 100%. I think the Celtics handle business. I think they fight their way. They get through this one, and they lose in the next round against my Heat. But I'm going Celtics in this one. Celtics, I like them to beat the Sixers. I think they're probably going to be the favorite, even with a healthy Embiid. But give me the 2-seeded Celtics over the 3-seeded Sixers in this one. Where you going with it?
Man, I'm going on the other side again, man. Joel Embiid, like you said, it's going to be the league MVP, man. I feel like I think it's going to be a tough one. Tatum, Brown, Smart. The Celtics, Brown, man. They got a good mob. But I'm gonna go 76ers in this series.
Ain't bad pick. Ain't never bad to bet on the MVP. You think Harden gonna continue to show up and be,
I hope so. Fingers crossed.
What he need to be?
I hope so. Fingers crossed. I mean, because
Hoping
with
we're
Harden,
hard for a minute.
because with Harden, it's the same thing, like you say with CP and D Book. Around this time, we know he's a great player, great scorer, but around these times, sometimes he fades to the black. So
Can't have it.
hopefully Harden can come in and do what he do.
Hopefully, we got Harden. Who's the other guy?
Maxie, yeah.
Maxie Harris got to continue to play, earning that check. But this will be another good series too. A lot of bad blood in this series. As a lifetime Heat fan, you always enjoy the Knicks battles, and I think Madison Square Garden is just one of those venues that the NBA is better when that venue is buzzing, and the Knicks kind of have that brand, like the Cowboys in football, and they always seem to let their fan base and the big media down when it comes to them. But Brunson, I love Brunson. Julius Randle's been banged up. Obviously, we lost Hero for pretty much probably the rest of the playoffs with his broken hand. But Hemi Butler, he hurt his ankle in game one. They found a way to get that win on the road in Madison Square, coming off that huge Game 7 victory over the Bucks, man. Which way you going in this one? You know where I'm going.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one, man. Like you said, they was able to get a win on the road. Jimmy Butler, man. I don't think we talk enough about the type of player that he is, man. He had a huge game last series. But I'm going with the Miami Heat, man. Being able to go into Madison Square Garden, being able to get that win, like you said, hurt his ankle. He didn't finish the game, but I think that was a huge game for the Miami Heat. I think they win this one in 5, man. And to your point, to what you just mentioned, as far as, and we talked about this in football, like when certain teams are playing well, it's just good for the sport. And again, growing up, this was one of the matchups in the Eastern Conference that we always wanted to see. You had the Miami Heat, you had the Knicks, you had the Pacers. Like, these were the teams that we wanted to see in the Eastern Conference. So to have these teams back, in decent terms, I would say, it's good for basketball.
That shit, this great. This great for the Knicks. Now the Heat, we've been able to enjoy some success for a while, actually. Shout out to Coach Spoelstra, actually. Coach Spoelstra, with his win, his first win in the second round, moved into sole place of 5th place all time when it comes to playoff victories. 101 playoff victories, which is crazy. And I think Eric Spoelstra is still kind of underrated as a coach. But the Heat has been able the Heat and their fans have been able to enjoy success over some time now. But for the Knicks, it's been ugly. They've been yelling at Dolan to sell the team. It's been they was not treating Spike Lee right at some point. Charles Oakley get thrown out the stadium. They done been dealing with all kind of shit. This year actually advanced to the second round. But Trae Young had them in a frenzy a couple years ago. They've been buzzing. But you picked us in 5.
Yeah,
I like it. Why you like us in 5 though?
Man, I just feel like, again, sportsman, man. I think coach, man. He's been having the Miami Heat just in great situations, And then when you have a guy, hopefully, Jimmy Butler is ready for game 2. But when you have a leader like Jimmy Butler who can, at any point take over the game, that's what you need, Not saying that, the Knicks don't have that, but Jimmy Butler, I just think he's slightly above everybody else in the series right now on both sides. You know what I mean? So, you got the old school cast, Kyle Lowry, Kevin Love coming in doing their thing.
Kyle Lowry made some clutch plays for us.
So I got the Heat, man. I just feel like they're playing with a lot of confidence, man. And so I got the Heat in 5.
Hey, no pushback from me, man. I take us in 5 or 6. Obviously, some other guys are gonna have to step up. But I like us in 5 or 6. I like watching Jalen Brunson play ball, man. Like the way he plays it, his pace, how he can get to a spot and create shots. Wasn't hitting from behind the arc, but I like him a lot. But it ain't gonna be enough to beat my Heat. I'm right there with you. What we got now? Actually, let's peek at the comments real quick and see who agreeing with who, because we're on some opposite sides. We came boom.
Heat 5, Nuggets, Sixers.
They got Golden State 5. They agree with the kid. Lakers might be too big for the way. We'll see. You think that? Grass do huge series for AD. AD got to be consistent, man. He's got to stack them together. I think this LeBron's last chance at the ring. I feel like we've been saying that for 9 years. 9 years now.
Right.
He keep going at it with Father Time.
But we do need AD to play big, man. We can't afford him to disappear for a game or two in this series. Like, he has to show up every game, man. We need AD. We need him for sure.
Game in, game out. I feel like LeBron and AD haven't put together a game together yet. Really, where they really both played at their peaks. We shall see. What we got next, man? Here goes the odds on the Eastern side for both series. Damn, 76ers. Huge underdogs. Haven't even tipped off yet. Once again, Embiid with that injury, they're probably already coming in as underdogs, but they are plus 420 right now in the FanDuel Sportsbook to win their series over the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics are, favorites at minus 560 right now to win the series. But hey, we know these odds. Whoever you like. Place your bets based on that, because we saw those crazy odds with the draft, what we're going to get to real soon. But the Heat favorites right now, minus 146. New York Knicks are the underdogs at plus 120 in that series. You got this one, AB?
Yeah, we got the Los Angeles Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. We got the Golden State Warriors, the favorite in that one, and the Phoenix Suns and Denver Nuggets. Got the Denver Nuggets favored in that one as well. So we're gonna see, man. We got two good matchups here in the Western Conference. D-Buck likes Golden State. You like the Suns. You like the Denver Nuggets and the Suns, right?
I went with the Nuggets. Yeah, I went with the Nuggets.
Yeah, you want the Nuggets, man. So again, there go your odds, like D-Buck said. Go over the FanDuel.
I might just be hating on the Suns, though, honestly.
Who, you?
I think I might.
No, you definitely hating on the Suns. You already talked about D-Buck, CP3. You definitely hating. But look, you can't be mad at the Denver Nuggets. But go over the FanDuel, man. Place your bets. Be smart, man. Like D-Buck always say, don't bet your your house, man. But
be smart.
Be smart, baby.
Matter of fact, let's run this FanDuel NBA read real quick. And then on the other side, it's all NFL talk. You got a lot to talk about with this draft.
What's going on, family? The NBA playoffs are here, and you can turn crossovers into cash with FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com/M2MLive right now and place a $5 bet, and you'll get an instant $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. There's no better place to bet all the playoff action than America's #1 sportsbook. Just go to FanDuel.com/M2MLive and sign up to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet your first $5. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA and the Man to Man podcast.
Yes, sir. And here we go. Let's get to the draft, man.
Let's get to the draft, baby.
Hey, it started on Thursday. Obviously went through Friday, Saturday, and then you had the undrafted free agent signed after. It's an interesting draft. And everybody already got their grades and who won and who lost and who's going to be the best. Obviously, the Will Levis slide out of the first round was probably the most surprising. Talking about those odds, he was, I think, minus 1,500 to go number 4 overall to the Colts before the draft took off. He was such a lock at that spot that they took the bet off because, the sportsbook didn't want to lose their ass on it. But he ended up sliding out. Our coach ended up going with Anthony Richardson, young quarterback out of Florida. Bryce Young was the 1. C.J. Stroud was 2. Will Anderson was 3. What was your thoughts and takeaways from this NFL draft?
Man, it was a good draft, and then we talked about, and we'll talk about it here shortly, like, who we felt as though came away with a big draft, right? A huge draft, a winning grade. And my 3 teams were the Colts, the Texans, and the Eagles. Starting off with our coach, them drafted Anthony Richardson. We've been having a quarterback carousel here for a minute, but I feel like he could be that guy. I think a lot of people were excited. Colts fans were excited. You look on social media, on Twitter, we got one. And I think we're right. I think we have one. If you look at his attributes, what he brings to you as a quarterback, man, it's special, right? Obviously, it's a lot of talk about what he can do, but we're gonna talk about the positives. Big guy, he's strong, has an
Yeah.
arm. You think about Cam Newton. Now, say hopefully he does become a player like Cam Newton,
Mm-hmm.
NFL MVP. But with the running game that we have, a solid defense, man, I think Anthony Richardson is going to be there for a long time. Great job by the coach. Obviously, picking Anthony Richardson, but I think we in good hands now, D. But what you think?
Hey, I feel like Anthony Richardson is like you going to out the Silicon Valley and betting on one of these startups, or you getting into crypto, or you try to buy some Bitcoin. Like one of them, he's one of them picks. He's like a boomer bust in my opinion. And I hate to be one of those people in the media, but he's like hey, he can go to the Hall of Fame or he could be a bust. And obviously on this show, we only putting good energy out there. So I'm looking at, we just got a Hall of Famer at the number 4 pick, just like when we drafted Edge at 4.
Yeah,
But he seems like a great kid. Everything that I heard about him behind the scenes, off the field, has been lights out, A+. Only 20 years old. Didn't play a lot of, don't have a ton of college snaps under his belt. And it's a lot of things that you see on the film that you would like him to improve on, but now he's going to be learning on the fly as a pro. And sometimes that can stunt a player's growth. And that's why I know a lot of times you always like the veteran to start off until that guy's kind of ready. But I think with a guy like him, with his athletic attributes, we just put this up, all of the Colts' relative athletic scores from the draft, and Anthony Richardson was a perfect 10 out of 10. And he would have been a 10 out of 10 if he went into the draft as a wide receiver. But so from that standpoint, I mean, the sky's literally the limit. So even when he's figuring out how to play quarterback at this level, he's able to use his athleticism to create plays and create problems for the defense. You talked about the run game. Jonathan Taylor coming back. We expect him to be healthy. He had his first, kind of injury-plagued season in his entire football career. So we expect him to bounce back. The offensive line going to be huge. How do we get production out of that offensive line? Because a lot of people are talking about Shane Steichen's success that he had with Jalen Hurts. And a lot of people talk about, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and all these great pieces, which are all great. But you can't do shit if you're not protecting that in them trenches. And Jalen Hurts is one of the best protected quarterbacks in the league last year. So we're going to need to get our money's worth out of that O-line. But I love this pick. And I loved it even more when they went and got Josh Downs in the 3rd round out of North Carolina. Because small dude, but he is a killer, especially line him up inside with those big receivers we got outside. Pearson Pittman, obviously JT in the backfield. So it could be something special. And this is the time of year where all the fan bases get excited. I know as a former Colt, as a huge Colts fan, I'm excited. You talked about the carousel we've been dealing with since Luck hung it up. To get a young kid like this with so much potential and excitement. I was praying to God this is who they went with at 4. I know there's a lot of people pointing at Levis, and I hope he does well in Tennessee as well. But I hope we got the right one. But we know we got to go out there and play the games. But I am ecstatic about this pick.
Nah, for
so
sure,
I'm right
man.
there with you with Colts.
Nah, I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you with the Colts, man. So we'll see. Like you said, we're gonna put that good juju in the atmosphere and see what our coach can do. Another team that I thought had a good draft, and they kicked it off with 2 of their 1st round picks, also in the AFC South, the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans, man. CJ Stroud, good quarterback. I think he was your first quarterback that you would have got off the board. So, D'Amico Ryans, first year head coach coming over from San Francisco. He has his guy. And then on the defensive side, they went and got Will Anderson. So in this draft, you have 2 players that you're going to have could be for a number of years on both sides of the ball. You know what I mean? And I thought that the Houston Texans, just with those 2 picks, had a very, very, very successful draft. Hate to see him being in the AFC South against our coach. But, again, 2 great picks. And I don't think you could have done it any other way. You know, I think what they had originally coming in, they had the 12th or 13th pick.
Yep, I
And they
believe what two. Yep.
Yep, they traded up, man. 2, 3 back to back, two great back to back picks, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Houston.
Yeah, shout out to Houston. And once again, obviously, as Colts guys, we don't like to root too much for the Houston Texans, but I think they got this one right. And I believe they got their head coaching hire right with DeMeco Ryans, and then you're setting DeMeco up for success, something they haven't done with the last couple coaches that they've hired. But the first draft of DeMeco Ryans' head coaching career, they swing for the fences, as AB mentioned, trading away next year's first round pick, along with some other picks to get back up there in the top 3. Only shout out to Daniel Jeremiah too. Only guy I saw predicting Texas making this move. But you're going to get C.J. Stroud with the 2nd overall pick. Then you're going to get Will Anderson with the 3rd overall pick. Juice Scruggs, Tank Dell, Dylan Horton, Henry, and then a couple other guys as well. But I think the Texans got this one right. You talk about premium positions, quarterback being one of them, obviously, and then the pass rusher, probably your second most important position. That's hopefully when you go and draft guys like this, those are your anchors on both sides of the ball. So if they get this one right, it's worth whatever picks you give up to get it if you are the Houston Texans. So once again, in that AFC South, so we ain't rooting for them too much, but I think they are setting head coach DeMeco Ryans up for success with these 2 picks. I absolutely love it. This is one of my favorite teams as well when it comes to what they did in the draft. There we go. We got you back. But your video might be a little. I might have to restart your video, AB.
Hold on, bro. I think I'm still choppy, bro.
Yep. Let me go to one of my favorite drafts until we get AB back in. There we go. The Lions. The Detroit Lions. Now, they had a lot of people scratching their heads with that pick. Jumped up to 12 to draft Jahmyr Gibbs, running back out of Bama. He was the 2nd running back taken in the 1st round, which was a surprise to a lot of people. And I was doing my comps on the draft spectacular, and Jahmyr Gibbs, his NFL comp for me was like a Jamal Charles and an Alvin Kamara. Smooth runner, home run speed, 4.36, so can take it to the crib from anywhere on the field. And also don't have a bunch of wear and tear coming into the league. So that's something I like. Obviously, the Lions loved it. They had Swift and who's the other back they have? Swift and someone else. I can't think of who they had on the roster. And then they traded DeAndre Swift to the Philadelphia Eagles pretty soon after making that pick. The writing was kind of on the wall. But Jahmyr Gibbs, special pick, in my opinion, at 12. And then they went back and got Jack Campbell. Now, once again, was a head scratcher for a lot of people because a lot of people looked at this and said, hey, Jack Campbell, tight end Sam Laporte, and then Brian Branch, and then Hendon Hooker. So you look at this draft, I like both picks in the 1st. I like both picks in the 2nd, and I love their 3rd round pick, getting Hendon Hooker, who you would think is their quarterback of the future, grabbing Hendon Hooker there in that 3rd round. Obviously, you got Jared Goff there now, but Gibbs, a home run hitter on the offensive side of the ball. Now, this is kind of opposite of the Houston Texans. Houston Texans went for the premium position. They went 3 overall with Derek Stingley, which is another premium position in the league last year. But this year they went quarterback and pass rusher. And the Lions, they kind of went against that whole model of, the premium position where the analytics say you need to spend your money. And they went and got Gibbs at 12. And then an off-ball linebacker at 18 with Jack Campbell, which a lot of people had, he would have been available in the 2nd round or at this point. But if you love your guy, you go out there and get him. And for some reason, I don't know if it was Mad Mel's reaction to the Jack Campbell pick, but big guy, he can run, 4'6", off the ball, 6'5", I believe. He just looks like one of those dudes that can mess around and go down and be the greatest linebacker in Detroit Lions history. He just looks like that kind of pick. Jack Campbell matched up with Motor City, Dan Campbell out there in Detroit. I like both of those first-round picks. My favorite pick is probably Brian Branch, who they went and got in the second round out of Bama. Kind of a nickel safety. Also did some returning at Bama, but just a special player, in my opinion. Plays well in space, explosive, tackles, very, very disciplined, as you expect a Nick Saban coach player to be. And he was one of my guys that I expect to come off the board in the first round. They got him in the second round. So I think Detroit, I know a lot of the nerds will tell you they didn't do great because of the position they drafted and where they drafted them. But I think they went on best available, best player on their board. And that goes into that pick at number 68 when they went and got Hendon Hooker. Once again, if he's healthy, I think he's the third quarterback off the board in this draft. He was on his way to winning the Heisman last year at Tennessee. Some people question will that offense or his style of play transfer to the NFL. I think it will. I think he's got a chance to be the best quarterback from this draft, in my opinion. But now he has time to heal. It's going to be no rush on that knee coming back. You got Jared Goff. Oh, shit. If he plays well again, he's probably in line for another extension, honestly. And then you got Hendon Hooker waiting in the wings. And you can really see what you got from your young guy with no rush to throw him on that field early. So I personally think the Detroit Lions knocked this draft out of the park, coming off a year where they competed all the way through the year and played meaningful games into December and January. So shout out to the Lions, who were another one of my favorites with what they did in the draft. Another team. So AB, I believe he said the Colts, Texans, and Eagles were his favorites. Eagles, they continue to pluck from their farm system down there in Athens, Georgia, with them dogs. But another team, my third team. So where did I go? Colts, obviously, Lions, and then the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks. A lot of people had them taking a quarterback in the first round at that number 5 position. They went Devin Witherspoon, cornerback out of Illinois, who's a dog. Just his attitude that he plays with, his explosiveness. He can play the ball. He can tackle. He can blitz. 5'10", 180-ish pounds, but an absolute dog, a menace out there in the field. So now you pair him up with Tariq Woolen, who played an all-pro level last year as a 6th-round pick, I believe. You got Tariq. You got Devin on both sides. You got Kobe Bryant, who played well in the slot as a rookie last year for Seattle. Quandre Diggs, one of the best free safeties in the game. So you got a lot of good pieces. It looks like they're trying to rebuild that Legion of Boom out there in Seattle, man. So I'm excited about what Seattle was able to do. And then not to mention, they got Jackson Smith and Jigba, who was the highest rated receiver for a lot of people coming into this draft. You put him out there on the field with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Geno Smith, who had a great year. Kenneth Walker in the backfield, who had a damn near rookie of the year situation at the running back. So I absolutely love the Seattle Seahawks picks. Let me throw them up there one more time. Number 5 overall, Devin Witherspoon. Number 20, Jackson Smith and Jigba. We got a outside linebacker, Derek Hall in the 3rd. Zach Charbonnet in the 2nd as well. Got some old linemen. Did their thing, man. Shout out to the Seahawks. Hey, B, we miss anything?
Yeah, I don't know if you talked about the Philadelphia Bulldogs.
Not yet. Let me go ahead and throw their picks up there real quick.
Man, shout out to Philly, man. Philadelphia Eagles, man. I nicknamed them the Bulldogs as well. I think they had a good draft. I heard you talk about the Seattle Seahawks. You mentioned the Detroit Lions, but this was my 3rd team, man. These Eagles picks, they keep getting it done. They keep getting it done. Put those picks back up there one more time. And you look in the first round, you get Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith. I always thought that they needed a safety. They went out and got Sidney Brown. This was a pick from the Arizona Cardinals. But what the Eagles are being able to do, what they're doing right now, I just think they're building their roster the right way through the draft. They was able to get Swift from the Detroit Lions as well. So him in the backfield with Jalen Hurts, man. I think it's what they're doing over there is phenomenal. So again, I think the Philadelphia Eagles had a great draft weekend.
Yeah, and Howie Roseman as a GM, I feel like he's continued to put on a master class. Not only in the draft, you just mentioned it. You went and got Nolan Smith, obviously Jalen Carter, Khalid Ringo, just players. You see this a lot. Some coaches like drafting from the same school because they know what they're getting. They know what coaching style they're coming from. They know what type of culture they're coming from, and obviously they like that. But I feel like he always makes another move either before or right after the draft to get him even better. So you go out and get Swift, explosive playmaker back there in that Eagles offense. It's gonna be special again. I think. Obviously, they took care of the quarterback, paid Jalen Hurts a couple weeks ago. At this point, made him the highest paid player in NFL history. Lamar trumped that, but special situation I think they got going on over there in Philly, man. So shout out to Howie. I can see why that was one of your favorite drafts as well. So all together, we got the Colts, Texans, Eagles, Seahawks as teams that really knocked it out of the park. And as usual, as always, we're gonna really see in a few years how these players pan out within their organizations on and off the field.
Hey, question for you though. Question for you. We talk about, we joking, as far as the Philadelphia Bulldogs. And you just mentioned it where, you go and get a guy from this particular school, right? You know what type of guy that you're gonna get, what type of player you're gonna get, because you know what they're breeding at that particular school. You've seen it with Alabama. You've seen it at the U in the past. But for Philly,
to TCU, Chargers, TCU. I think they drafted 3 TCU players this draft.
Right. So you see it, right? So you have these guys they've been in the same locker room. They could be cool, they couldn't be cool, but you see them coming together. Like, what could that do, like, for the locker room? You got guys that's familiar with one another that's coming in. Like what does that do for the locker room? What does it do for guys that, because you know how it is. You in the locker room, you really don't know nobody. Obviously, it's going to take time to get acclimated, but being able to walk in that locker room and it's like, okay, this is my guy right here. I rock with him. You know what I'm saying? We've done this in the past. Like, what does that do for the morale of the team?
Man, that's huge. It's instant comfort. And for that player, obviously, that individual, once he steps into that locker room, like you said, it's already people you're comfortable with. And usually it doesn't, for most guys, in my experience at least, it doesn't take long, for a guy to get kind of acclimated to the locker room. As long as you fit in and not trying to be, something different than what that locker room is, you fit into whatever the culture is. And then it starts usually in your meeting room. So you look at these guys, Jalen Carter, he going into a meeting room with Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, same thing. They're going into pretty much the same meeting room. So you're going into these meeting rooms, you're going into these teams where it's already instant comfort. That was the biggest part for me about like OTAs and training camp, was really just building that, that team camaraderie and getting used to each other as individuals. So that way, I think it translates and you play better on the football field. But I think that plays huge dividends for obviously not only Philadelphia Eagles, but other teams that do that. And I think these coaches and these decision makers kind of do that intentionally as well, because they already know, hey, so-and-so was a good teammate. Or if you look at a guy like Jalen Carter, I know a part of that assessment or whatever pre-draft is kind of like, okay, we want Jalen Carter to be in a good situation in the locker room that he's going into. And I think our locker room is going to be, he's familiar with a bunch of the guys around him.
Yeah.
He was young. He was there, basically a young pup on a very talented defense. They won. It was a winning culture. So I think he'll fit great into this locker room. Sometimes that works out. Sometimes it doesn't. But I think it's going to pay huge dividends for the Eagles for sure.
I agree with you.
Yeah, man. But any other draft takeaway? Who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans this year? Week 1.
CJ
Will Levis. But what the hell you got in your cup? What? Said the Tennessee Titans, man.
I thought you said he was
Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis, and Will Levis. Who's starting week 1, AB?
I don't think it's going to be Malik Willis. I'm going to go Tannehill.
Okay.
I'm going to go Tannehill. But Will Levis will be the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans by week 8.
By week 8, Will Levis will be
Week 8.
starting.
Will Levis will be starting for the Tennessee Titans. I'm tripping. I could have sworn you said Houston Texans.
What's the CJ Stroud? Sure, we got a whole new cast of characters in the AFC South at quarterback now. I expect Anthony Richardson to start week 1. So let's say we got Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, who I also expect to start for the Texans.
Yep.
Ryan Tannehill maybe is still the starter, and then Trevor Lawrence will be the starter out there in Jacksonville. So whole new cast of characters out there at the quarterback position in the AFC South. Real quick, going to fly through some other things before we get up out of here. My Florida Panthers. Let's go Cats. Obviously a huge hockey guy. I mean, nobody gave us a chance. Boston Bruins set the record for the best regular season ever. The Bruins and the Bucks had the best records in their respective sports and both lost in round 1. It's the second time that the teams with the best NHL and NBA regular season records have each lost in round 1. The Canucks and Bulls did it back in 2012. But shout out to my Panthers, man. Swaggy, I can't pronounce his real last name. 23 with an overtime game 7 goal to win in walk-off fashion over the mighty Boston Bruins. That President's Cup curse lives on. So President's Cup is given to the best record regular season in the NHL. And usually they go on to lose in the first and second round in the NHL playoffs, which those playoffs, it was like another game 7 right after as well. I didn't watch that one, and I think it's another game 7 tonight. So hockey playoffs have been electric so far.
Hey, question for you.
Yep.
I seen you just, Milwaukee Bucks, number 1 seed, got exited out of the playoffs.
Verhaeghe.
There you go, Verhaeghe. Appreciate you, man. Up 3D.
Yes, sir.
So one of the reporters asked Giannis after the game, was this series or this season a disappointment?
Or failure.
A failure.
Uh-huh.
So as the fierce competitor that I know you are, what are your thoughts and what is your take on Giannis' comment as not being a failure of this season for this season?
I understood his overall sentiment, and I guess I like the speech. It would be like something, I would want my kids to hear, like, hey, sports is this. It's not a failure. You learn. A loss is a lesson. And great answer. Great. I have no problem with that. But to answer the question now, was it a good question or a bad question? That's another day to answer that. But yes, it's a failure in my opinion. You were the number 1 seed. You had the best record in the regular season. I believe the betting favorite to win, not that matters, but the betting favorite to win the championship, and you go out and lose in round 1. Now, obviously, Giannis was hurt, 2-3 games in that series, so it would have been different maybe if he's played, maybe. But is it a failure? Is that season a failure? I think so. You still learn something from it. You move on as an athlete, but yeah, and I never won a Super Bowl. Do I feel like all 9 of my seasons were failures? No, but when you pack in that black bag and you throwing all that shit in that black bag, you got your exits meetings. You feel like it at that point in time. But then you look back at the grand scheme of things, you learn things, you enjoy it, blah, blah, blah. But you're in it to win it. That's sports. That's why you keep the score. Everybody's in there. When they go to training camp, everybody's trying to win a championship. That's the goal. And if you don't succeed at that goal, it's a failure for that goal. Now, did you succeed in other areas? Absolutely. But I had no problem with Giannis's answer. But in my opinion, yes, absolutely. That was a failure on the Bucks' part. What's your thought? What was your thoughts on that?
I'm with you, man. I kind of was straddling the fence because again, the way he answered the question was great, But being a competitor, being that when you go into training camp, everybody's saying the same thing. What is our goal? At the end of the year, our goal is to win, the hoist that trophy, whatever that trophy is in your sport. Obviously, every season you're gonna take some lessons, right? As we say, we're not going to take L's, we're not going to take losses. It's going to be lessons. So, like you said, it's all lessons going to be learned throughout the season. But going in as a number 1 seed and getting out of there your first round, it is some failure with that. Again, I agree with you what Giannis said. That was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure coaches are they're gonna edit that clip and they're gonna put that in their meeting room. Like, that's what you need. But at the end of the day, as competitors, you look at it and like, that's a failure.
Yeah, and he mentioned Michael Jordan in it, and he said, like, Michael Jordan played 15, he won 6 championships with another non-season failure. No. Michael Jordan might say, yeah, it was a failure. The other 9 seasons was a failure. But one of Michael Jordan's quotes, he talked about all the shots he missed and all of this and all of that, and basically you're gonna take those along the way was his message. So I think that's always a good message. But when you have a goal, sometimes you fail at that goal. It just happens. But Giannis, he still got a ring. I love the guy, ultimate competitor. I think it's obviously some things to still work on, as it is with everybody. But I'm sure he'll bounce back and have his team right back in the thick of it next year.
Yeah.
Last thing before we get up out of here, we had F1. F1 came back. Sergio Checo Perez in a Red Bull car won it. Max Verstappen second place. Charles Leclerc came in third. So no Max.
Hey.
No Max at the top of the podium.
2 out of the 3 names I'm very familiar with now because of my guy D-Buck. Shout out to F1.
Yep. So Checo, Verstappen, Leclerc, Alonso, Carlos Sainz, Lewis Hamilton, Lance Stroll, George Russell, Lance Norris, and Yuki Tsunoda round out the top 10. The next one will be here this weekend, and I will be out there. We'll be down there 2nd year in a row for the Miami Grand Prix with Formula One May 7th. So hopefully we get an exciting one. Maybe even a different podium. Maybe.
I doubt it. I doubt it. I doubt it.
We shall see.
So,
but
my guy D-Buck gonna be in Miami F1. I'm gonna be in Kentucky this weekend.
You're going out there?
I'm going to the Derby, man. It's one of those things I can check off the list, man. I've always wanted to go out there. I'm gonna put the suit on. I'm gonna try to figure out if I'm gonna wear the hat or not. But
okay, I was about to say.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out there and have a good time, man. So D-Buck, Miami F1, AB, Kentucky for the Derby. We gonna make some things happen. Hey, shout out to Nakib. I just read in the chat, she's become official in the agent game. Congrats.
Shout out.
Day one
in the chat, but shout out Nakiba, day one.
Yeah.
Day one with the man-to-man team. That's big time. That's dope.
It is.
Obviously, we got black women doing some amazing things as agents. Nicole Lynn had a clutch, signed that Jalen Hurts deal. Next, we got to talk about Lamar next show. That's going to be a lot to talk about, though. Finally got that deal done. He finally got his money to become the highest paid player in NFL history. His guarantees, 180 few $1 million over Jalen Hurts, but still a long ways away from that Deshaun Watson, that deal that Mogetta did. That's going to go down in the history books. It's still an outlier right now, 230 fully guaranteed. But shout out to Lamar Jackson finally getting his money, which was well deserved, and he did it on his own. Negotiated his own deal. I had some doubts about it. I'm sure a bunch of other people did. He stuck to his guns, got it figured out, and now he'll be a whole lot of flop. I think he said for the next 5 years they went and drafted Zay Flowers to another South Florida boy.
Hey.
Very good receiver, signed Odell.
Hey.
So I like it. I like it.
Sir.
I like it.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I like it a lot. And to AB's point about that Derby, FanDuel Sportsbook, I believe, is the only sportsbook you can bet on the Kentucky Derby. And I'll be talking about the Derby a little bit on FanDuel TV with Kay Adams and Up and Adams in about 5 to 10 minutes. So y'all slide over there and check it out. If you can. I can't wait to see AB fit, man. I know you be clean, cuz.
I'm gonna put something together. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about the horses, but I'm gonna definitely put a bet out there when I'm out there. Hey, The
Put
other
that shit on.
baby.
Hey, shout out to AB, the other AB, Antonio Brown. He said he signed with the Ravens. I don't know if the Ravens agreed to terms just yet, but shout out my boy, manifesting that.
Yeah, and before we get out of here, hate to end on this type of news, but the Buccaneers linebacker, Shaq Barrett,
Yeah,
2-year-old daughter, drowned in the family pool. So from the Man to Man pod, we want to give our prayers, best wishes to the family. I can imagine, I have a 3-year-old. We have a pool as well, so I already understand, going through the mind. But again, prayers to the Barrett family. Man, bro, I don't know what I would do.
Man, whew,
but it's tough. It's
heartbreaking, man. So
love,
definitely sending love and light to their family, man. Condolences with
Shaquille
and his family.
Love on your people, please.
Absolutely. All right, man. We out of here, man. We'll see y'all on Monday. Hey, enjoy the Derby, man.
Hey, I might give y'all a quick snippet. I'm gonna do some homework on the horses, man. I might give y'all like a little 15-minute rundown on the horses who I'm betting on.
Yeah. All right. All right, bro.
All right.
Go.
Yo.
Yeah, we talking, man to man, they can't guard me, man to man, they don't wanna see us, man to man, they don't know how to beat us, man to man, 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 yeah, man, that's in me, that's why I want it so bad. Must be the hustler in me that keep my foot on the gas. When you got it from nothing and hard times ain't so bad. Just know I'm coming for everything that they said I couldn't have. I put my life inside it, yeah, I kept it solid. Yeah, I played the field, that's how I feel about it. We put numbers on the board, we always up the score. Yeah, we stuck to the plan and never ran. Now they can't see it, man. Yeah, we talking, man to man. They can't guard me, man to man. They don't wanna see us, man to man. They don't know how to beat us, man to man. Man to man, 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 man to man.
Any way we can get it, baby. Any way we can get it.